There's breaking news tonight in the search for Brian Laundrie, the Florida man missing since shortly after the death of his fiancee, Gabby Petito. CNN's Randy Kay is working the story for us. Randy, the FBI just a little while ago confirming that Laundrie's remains have been recovered along with some other potentially important evidence. What are you learning?
Well, Wolf, it's been more than 5 weeks since Brian Laundrie disappeared from his home. He left just 2 days after Gabby Petito was reported missing. And now, after that exhaustive search, we have learned finally that the remains found here at this reserve just yesterday have been identified as Brian Laundrie. The FBI identifying the human remains as Brian Laundrie after comparing dental records.
This is tragic.
1 day after the remains of Brian Laundrie were found in a Southwest Florida reserve, investigators returned to further search the area today amid treacherous conditions.
We're talking about water levels up above almost the chest area, rattlesnakes, moccasins, alligators. You just can't walk up and look. It's not like you're searching a house or a car. These areas are huge and they're covered by water.
A source close to the investigation tells CNN the remains appear to have been there a while. Clothing believed to be Laundrie's was found as well. Laundrie, who had not been charged in the death of his fiancée, Gabby Petito, was last seen September 13th when he went hiking in the Carlton Nature Reserve, his family said. The remains found yesterday were in the Carlton Reserve, about a 45-minute walk from the park entrance. Officials say some personal belongings believed to be Laundrie's were also found by his father.
It's quite sad. You can imagine as a parent finding your son's belongings alongside some of the remains, and that's got to be heartbreaking, and I can tell you that they are heartbroken.
But there are questions about when and where the remains were found, including the circumstances of yesterday's search that involved his parents, Roberta and Chris Laundrie. The area had been underwater until recently and only reopened to the public yesterday.
As they went further in, Chris ventured off the trail into the woods. He was zigzagging in different areas. Law enforcement was doing the same thing. At some point, Chris locates what's called a dry bag. The dry bag is a white bag, is laying in the woods, I'll say 20 feet or so off the trail. According to Chris, it was in some bramble.
The personal items include a backpack and notebook, but so far the contents have not been revealed. Laundrie disappeared more than a month ago. Wednesday, the FBI called him a person of interest in the killing of Petito. On September 1st, Laundrie returned to his parents' home in Florida without Petito after their summer road trip. Her remains were later found in Wyoming. Her death ruled a homicide. And not long after those remains were identified as Brian Laundrie, law enforcement went to the home of Chris and Roberta Laundrie, where Brian Laundrie used to live with Gabby Petito, his fiancée, and alerted them that, yes, indeed, those remains did belong to their son. One other note, Wolf, you heard the attorney there mention this dry bag. I'm told by a source close to the investigation that near that dry bag is where that notebook was found. I'm told that it was quite wet. But that they do believe it is possibly salvageable. They're going to try and dry it out and see what's inside it. But of course, Wolf, you can imagine this is very important in case Brian Laundrie did write anything down about what happened to Gabby Petito, how she ended up dead. Certainly the family and many others are going to want some answers, Wolf. All
right, Randy, Randy, thank you very much. Randy Kay reporting. Let's get some more on all this. Joining us now, forensic pathologist Priya Banerjee. And CNN senior law enforcement analyst, the former FBI Deputy Director, Andrew McCabe. Andrew, can you walk us through the FBI's role in identifying these remains as Brian Laundrie? What resources did the FBI devote to this effort?
Well, Wolf, there's no question that this is a case that's been given all the resources it could possibly need. In terms of this current iteration over the last 24 hours or so, I'm quite sure that the local medical examiner was the person who conducted the exam of the remains, but the FBI can be very helpful in terms of getting the either DNA samples or dental records and those sorts of things to the medical examiner for the purpose of comparing with the sample the evidence they recover on the scene. So there's also a coordination piece here between the investigation that's still ongoing out in Wyoming. Let's not forget that we have a homicide that was committed in a national park, so federal land in Wyoming, And I'm quite sure the FBI is still actively engaged in trying to figure out exactly who killed Gabby Petito.
You know, Dr. Banerjee, the FBI used dental records to identify Laundrie. How complicated is that process?
Yeah, I mean, if you have good x-rays from before, it's actually quite doable just with x-rays of the body as well as the prior x-rays to make a comparison. It's visual, and once you have those next to each other, you can do it pretty rapidly.
You know, Andrew, we just heard Randy Kay report that the notebook recovered at the scene might be salvageable. What information might investigators be able to glean from that discovery?
Well, it's incredibly important, Wolf, that the evidence recovery agents and other technicians on the scene recover that evidence in a way that preserves it for exploitation back at the lab. I would expect that most of those articles have been taken or will be flown to the FBI lab at Quantico, Virginia, where we have experts who really spend their careers doing things like drying out paper evidence, trying to recover the writing and the ink marks and potentially fingerprints and all sorts of other potentially relevant pieces of evidence from an article just like this. In terms of understanding Laundrie's motive, his feelings about Petito, maybe even any kind of notes or comments that he may have made about the events we're still trying to understand in Wyoming, that notebook could shed a lot of light on all those issues.
Does the Laundrie, do the Laundrie parents, their involvement in the search at all affect suspicions that are out there right now? What do you think, Andrew?
You know, Wolf, I think the Laundrie family has conducted themselves in a fairly odd way that's generated a lot of suspicion right from the beginning, right? There's he left on the 14th. No, as it turns out, he left on the 13th. So there's been all kinds of suspicion about that. There's no question in my mind that the circumstances under which the Laundries participated in that search, specifically Chris Laundrie yesterday, that's all known to the investigators. So it may be entirely coincidence that he came across his son's remains and articles of clothing and things. That certainly could be the case since that area was recently submerged in water. But we have to leave it up to the investigators to determine if there's more to pursue on there, more questions to ask the Laundrie family.
Dr. Banerjee, quickly, as a forensic pathologist, what stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, usually even when I respond to a crime scene, the family is not allowed. No external people are allowed other than the immediate, investigator. So that was odd to me. But in this case, I do believe that the two major issues, again, are identification, which has been completed. And now my colleagues have quite a challenge in determining the cause of death. I don't know how much has been recovered of his body, so that'll be challenging. I know they were out there again today, and maybe the diary or other evidence can, shed some light as to what happened.
Dr. Banerjee, thank you very much. Andrew McCabe, as usual, thanks to you.